what is the FIRE community for those that aren't familiar, and then how does, I guess, their view of the world potentially tie directly into Bitcoin?
Yeah, I came to Bitcoin already being a FIRE practitioner. FIRE stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early. And it's a perspective or a strategy around playing with the fiat financial system in such a way that you are using it to your advantage so that you can stop working early in life, or at least gain that financial independence that we all seek so that you can do the things that you love and you're not stuck at a job. I immediately took to this, and really the main strategy here is that you're going to be living within your means, you're going to be frugal, you're going to be staying humble and stacking stocks. You're going to be buying the stock market index in as much size as you can in an effort to outpace the debasement of your fiat currency. Now, the FIRE community doesn't really understand that in any cognizant way. They intuitively understand that, which is why they advocate for this type of saving. I recently had a post on Twitter just saying that if you're buying VTSAX or VTI, these like very broad-based index ETFs or mutual funds, you're not actually investing. And the FIRE community will talk about how you want to save and invest your money so that you can retire early. But you're not investing when you buy those things. You're not looking at PE ratios. You're not looking at companies' balance sheets. You're not looking at return on equity or making some type of speculation onto the growth prospects of a particular company or investment vehicle. You're buying the economy in the US when you buy that thing. And that's exactly what Bitcoiners do when we are saving in Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is a savings technology. It's the best savings technology that the world has ever seen. And because of the way that we approach that, which is staying humble and stacking sats, there's a really good synergy between Bitcoin and FIRE that the FIRE community just doesn't quite understand yet. So I had this post that I put on my personal website, got cross-posted on the Unchained website, but it's outlining exactly that. What are these truths that the FIRE community intuitively understands, but they haven't quite figured that out yet, that make Bitcoin such a great vehicle for a portfolio that they would be using to retire early. So I'm trying to make that point, trying to make some inroads there. I think it's going to be successful, but it might take a little bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a super interesting perspective, and it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I've talked about that, at least like Bitcoin kind of being this global productivity index fund with Eric Yates, Alan Farrington, and the new guy, Luke Broyles, all have similar thoughts. And to me, it makes a lot of sense. It's just kind of crazy that so few people, I guess, have grasped that Bitcoin is potentially this weird roundabout way to create this global productivity index fund.
As in when Bitcoin becomes global money, it's representative of the entire global economy and the rate at which it's growing. So it's the same perspective that somebody who's buying these total stock market index funds is taking by saying, I'm not going to make any particular investment. I want to save my money and get exposure to the growth of the economy. That's what buying hard money gets you. That's what Bitcoin gets you. It's perfectly designed for that because there'll only ever be 21 million of them. So you don't have this extra noise introduced into the system from the fact that the dollars that you're measuring your BTSAX in are constantly increasing in value with these various bouts of crazy deflation that we see from time to time as well.
Yeah, totally. One thing that I think is interesting that Luke Broyles mentioned that I've never quite heard it put this way. He said that, like, okay, if we're right about that, which I think we are, then maybe other assets can be viewed as kind of like a hedge against Bitcoin failing, which I was like, okay, that actually makes sense because, I mean, I'm not 100% like into Bitcoin. Like I do hold some dollars. I do actually hold like 401k, right? I'm not 100%. I'm not 100%. I know I'll probably regret it. But you know, it's kind of
you go into that knowing that all of those other things will lose value versus Bitcoin over the long term. But you do have to have some type of allocation to dollars so that you can spend those things into the economy. We're not quite there yet where Bitcoin is accepted widely. But I think that's coming over the next 5 years or so.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I guess you said it well. I mean, I think of it as kind of like a hedge against Bitcoin failing, which I don't think will happen, but it's kind of like that's why you would hold those assets today. Or you just simply don't understand Bitcoin. So you're like, all right, let's hold a passive index fund.
Well, most people have a huge chunk of their net worth in their home. And those home prices are vastly inflated just by the fact that we have such terrible money, that the money is broken. And so, as Bitcoin takes over as global money and more people start using it in that way, the value of home prices is going to return to its utility value, which is actually depreciating over time. Your house doesn't get more valuable on its own just from the fact that it exists. It actually depreciates. It needs maintenance work. It gets older. And so, there are certainly some exceptions based on location and more people moving in. Those are extraneous features, but just holding all of those other things equal, there's no reason that your house should go up in value over time. It should actually drop in value as that depreciation, that natural maintenance, entropy takes place.